Okay, so last question. My thoughts on Canada's educational system. How long have you got? My thoughts. Um, Start with it being the educational industrial complex. Um, I think in many ways our system is designed to produce individuals that are capable of working um, in an economic system that requires them to work from 9 to 5, to take orders, to think critically only when necessary, in a sense that allows them to problem solve within a certain framework, but ultimately not to ask questions as to what the underlying system represents, how it came about, honest analysis of probably where it's going, um, and answer questions of larger macro level context of what is our role, not simply as a country, but as citizens in something much larger. I think the Canadian educational system does a great disservice to its students, specifically regarding teaching our own history, which, if anyone spends any time in university, even in university, you go through a history degree and not necessarily have a great sense of um, some of the underlying issues in Canadian history that we kind of kick under the rug and kind of want to forget. But I mean, that's the fate of, I think, most nations and most countries do that. Um, how has it affected my life? Um, you know, I think to a certain extent, I enjoyed it. I always enjoyed school in the sense of I enjoyed the challenge of it, the cognitive or the mental challenge, solving things, figuring things out, the grade aspect of it. I know there's a lot of debate as to the value and the goals that are set by having grading things, but I really enjoyed that myself. Like I enjoyed the challenge. I enjoyed competition. I've always enjoyed competition. I mean, it's, as I've gotten older and gotten deeper into the system, you see when you're younger, it's just competition against your classmates, and that's kind of fun because you're friends and you're like, I want to beat him, screw him, whatever. As you get older, you realize that that bred competition, or the way it's bred into you, is meant to work on a much larger macro sense, where we're competing for jobs and positions and stature. The scope of that competition, you see how it's engendered in us at a very young age and how it plays out. It broadens out into all sort of like all different aspects of society, right? Um, what I would like to see change, I think, is again getting away from simply putting people into the areas that we think are necessary. I mean, think of the subjects that we teach. How we teach math, physics, biology, chemistry, history, geography. Why those any more than, I don't know, tree planting or soil erosion or things that could be very specific, very particular, but also very, very relevant and very, very necessary. And I think if the students are interested in that, we should provide avenues to push people in those directions to what people are passionate at. And I know the other side of the argument that it's incessantly beat into us that we need to standardize and generalize and make it easy so that everyone gets it. And to a certain extent, that's true because I mean, public education by standardizing it has brought up, general math knowledge, general literacy, um, uh, just general basic knowledge, higher for everyone. We've all gained from the system of education. But I mean, once you get to a certain point, the question is, do we have the resources, the intelligence capabilities to do that, to push it in a new direction? I think there's unequivocally the answer is yes, of course we do. It's just that we're stuck in a certain mindset that's producing a certain kind of education. Um, and again, it's easy. It's probably arguably cheaper. I mean, but I'm not sure. I don't know the numbers. Um, but I would like it to see a more individualized forms of education, less focus on standardized testing, intelligence testing. Um, Intelligence testing just reflects time and place and need and a desire that a society has for a certain kind of intelligence. It's great. It's fine. but I think we could do a lot better, and I think we could push students in far different ways. But that would require some huge wholesale changes in a lot of areas and a lot of directions. Although it's possible, and it's changing all the time. They're all kind of alternative schools, and classes like the one you guys are taking right now that sort of push the envelope and challenge people to look at things in different ways, which is admirable, impressive, and quite a gift. So enjoy.